Coming up next, who are the 4 people that can help you in your career? And I'll share 2 words that help you be better and feel better. We'll take your calls and your chats, and it all starts right now. I'm coming to you live from Ramsey Studios in Nashville, and you're joining a conversation about who you are, what you were created to do, where you want to do that, and how you can get there. It's about your purpose. And your purpose, in other words, your why am I here, is about others. It's actually not about you. You were created to fill a unique role. We're going to look at the role that you were created to fill in your work. There's certain roles that you were created to fill spiritually, and a role to create that you were created to fill relationally. But we're going to look at your work role. You were created to contribute, to make the world a better place through your work. And you use your talent, what you do best, to perform your passion, the work you love to do, to produce your mission, the results that matter deeply to you. Talent, perform passion, create, produce, mission. Talent, passion, mission. That's where we start. Where the 3 of those intersect. That's where you find that role. And then you're working in your sweet spot, and people marvel at your work because they say, you were born for this. And this is how it all comes together. So that's the conversation that we're having here on the Ken Coleman Show. Really excited to have you with us. It's a positive conversation because it's about dreaming and doing and being. And that will fire anybody up. So we're thrilled to have you. 844-747-2577. 844-747-2577. That's the phone number. It's toll free. You can also submit your question via the chat window right there next to the video window. And we'll get to 2 or 3 of those here on my computer a little bit later. While you're watching, if you're enjoying the program, if it's lifting you or if it's helped somebody else, click that thumbs up button right below me there. And also subscribe if you haven't subscribed. We're growing. And when you subscribe and when you click on the thumbs up, that helps us with the YouTube algorithm. And they put the show out in front of people who are searching for this type of content. And so that would help us tremendously. And you're a part of not just helping you get clear on what your purpose is, but helping others discover this conversation. So thank you for considering that, and thanking you in advance of doing it. 844-747-2577 is the phone number. So saw a great article from Ruth Gotian, or Goshen. Not sure how you say it, so we'll do both. I think it's Goshen. And this is a really good piece about why you need a role model, a mentor, a coach, and a sponsor. And this is really well done. Going to roll through these really quickly because they're self-explanatory, but I want you doing a self-assessment right now as you're listening. Do I have this person in my life? Had I had somebody like this, and what was the positive effect? With the idea here that you go get somebody to fill these roles for you. The first one is role model. This is great. The easiest one because they're attainable in that you don't have to know them. You don't have to speak to them. You just want to emulate them, to look up to them. Who are your role models? People that you admire and wish to emulate. Then there's the mentor. Now the mentor, there's a million different definitions of what a mentor is. But I would say for this discussion, this is the person who is guiding you. They may guide you emotionally, intellectually, giving you some accountability as well. They're talking through life, walking through life with you. Then you've got the coach. Now, the coach is much more specific than the mentor. The coach is focused on a specific action that you want to execute well on. All right? And so you're driving towards a specific result, and that coach is helping you get the fundamentals and get the best out of you on this specific goal that you want to execute on. And then finally, the sponsor. And I would call this person the cheerleader, but somebody who's out there actively promoting you. When you're not around, there's somebody that's going, let me tell you about so-and-so. They're really, really sharp. I believe in them. And they're the person who's just naturally a promoter and a cheerleader. And they're doing that for you. and they're looking for opportunities to promote you. You get somebody like that, we're talking about massive multiplication. And I've been fortunate to have people like that who I'd hear from somebody else going, hey, so-and-so was talking about you. They're building you up. And that's a big, big differentiator. So those 5 people, do you have them? If you don't, who can you get to play that role in your life? You will not regret it. Trust me. 844-747-2577 is the number. Let's go to Fredericksburg, Virginia. Gail is on the line. Gail, you're on the Ken Coleman Show.
Hi, Ken.
Hi, Gail.
Thank you very much for taking my call.
You bet. How can I help?
So I filled out the clarity guide that I saw on your website, and I am stuck on the mission part.
Okay.
It's the people and I guess there was something else that I have a hard time narrowing down like who I want to help, and kind of like.
What about a problem? What about a problem that you love solving? Did you get anything with that?
No.
And solutions?
It's just very broad.
Okay, well, tell me what you do have that's very broad.
So it's like the problem is that just the problems that I'm thinking of are like there's so many of them that I feel like I see, and I have a hard time knowing which one is to focus on. Okay,
but again, I'm trying to fast forward this process for you.
Okay.
So what are the top 3 or 4 problems that when we asked you, and let's catch the audience up. So she wrote down her talents, what she does best. Then she wrote down her passions. This is the work that she really enjoys doing, the work itself. Okay. And that's where it's not about notoriety or money. It's just you love the work itself, the task, the function. And so now we're trying to figure out, well, then what are the results of her work that she loves that really fire her up? And so she's really stuck, folks. So now, Gail, that I've been talking about you while you're on the line, let's jump back to you. And I think we're going to find the answer. I think we're going to get the specifics by looking at passion. So what did you write down? What did you identify as the work that you love to do most?
I love working with numbers, spreadsheets, databases, but I also really like helping other people find solutions to questions. Like I found that out through my work.
Okay, now hold on. You just gave us the results. Let's go look at what we just said. You love working with numbers, spreadsheets, and organizing and analyzing and patterns and all that stuff. That's what that is. Databases, spreadsheets. That's all that kind of, you love data and organizing data, analyzing data. True or false?
True.
Okay. So then you said, well, I love giving people solutions, answering their questions. So you started to drive towards something. So it sounds like to me that you love helping people. We'll figure that out in a moment, by giving them answers through the research, the data, the analyzing, the organizing. Then you go, okay, here's where we see the gap. And so now we have to address this. Am I on mission? Am I on the right track?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So be more specific now. Who are those people? Are they small business owners? Are they individuals with money problems?
Usually it's more individuals.
Okay. So tell me about somebody that you helped this way. You analyzed and crunched some things, some details, some numbers, and then you gave them a plan and you helped them. How'd you help them?
Basically, the first thing that comes to my mind is that I had to do my dad's estate. And so just keeping track of the status of everything, and then keeping my sisters up to date about what was going on, and just kind of putting a close on it when that was done. That was very satisfying.
Okay, great.
Like, it was really challenging, but it was very satisfying.
You know, it was challenging because there were a lot of details, a lot of stuff, not really well organized, right? So you had to kind of take it all, figure out how to organize it, and then once you got it organized, how do we execute on it? So there's a little bit of project manager in you too, right? Execution. You really love getting A to Z done and getting it done efficiently, right?
Right.
So take a stab at this. What do you think motivates you the most in the workplace? What motivates you? This is what mission is. It's the results of our work that we go, oh, I love that. So in the workplace, you just described it for us, but say it. What are the results that if you're deriving this result, or you're saying this is what motivates me, what do you think it is? I've got an answer, but I want to hear you say it first.
I feel like it is finding solutions to people's problems and just helping them make a wise decision.
Yeah, but I think though that there's a component to, I think you want to analyze, organize, and then I think you want to, if I'm using the fun word, theorize. Right? Where you kind of go, now this is what I think needs to happen for a solution. So I think you're all about solving problems. The question is, are they people problems or number problems first and foremost? Are they organizational problems or are they relational problems? Do you see how I'm giving you options here?
I think so, yeah.
So which one is it? More on the organizational side of things? Patterns, numbers? That's what I think too. So people are ultimately at the end of everything we do, right? There's always a person that's either directly or indirectly connected to our work. You agree with this?
Right.
But what you're most involved in, I think you're more of a process, order, efficiency person. I think that's what I was getting at. So when I ask you what your big motivator is in the workplace, I think it's about order. I think it's about efficiency, proficiency. Am I right?
Yes.
All right. You see how that now gives you some sort of wait a second. I could be an office manager. I could be an analyst, a data analyst. I could be an executive assistant to a high profile leader in business that's got a million things coming at him. I don't know. I mean, my point is you can now look at multiple jobs as long as the job and the path in that career is allowing you to fulfill that role of problem solver. Right?
Right. I see that.
So that's how the career clarity guide works. That's how this process of Gail using what she does best to perform the work she loves to do to produce results that matter deeply to you. Do you see how it all goes together now?
Yeah. Yep. It helps walking through it.
Yeah. Hey, but that's why I'm here. It's my favorite thing to do. You're the only person in the world I'm thinking about and talking to right now, Gail, is you. So I love it. But I want you to see how it all fits together. Now you know your primary role in the workplace. What is it? Say it.
Organizing efficiently.
Yeah. Organizer, problem solver. I don't care what word you use right now. It's just now you go, this is what keeps me in my sweet spot when I'm performing this role. And so now you can see lots of different jobs in the marketplace that fit this. But you just have to ask yourself, when I look at this job description, does this allow me to perform the role that I really was created to fill? And so now you've got a lot of freedom, a lot of exciting things ahead of you, Gail. And I'm really excited about this. Go, go, go. Gail, you got this. Let's go to James in Longmont, Colorado next. James, you're on the Ken Coleman Show.
Hi, Ken. How are you?
James, I'm living the dream. What's going on?
Hey, so about 3 weeks ago, I interviewed for a position that I'm super excited about. It is getting me inching closer to my dream job. It would just be absolutely huge. I heard back from the hiring manager just the other day via email that the position has been put on temporary hold for a budgetary review. I feel encouraged by the fact that he reached back out to me and let me know.
Yeah.
But while we sit here and wait for the budgets to come through, I'd like to know how best I can follow up in the coming weeks so I am still present in the hiring manager's mind without being over the top.
Yeah. What was your response?
So immediately I sent him a thank you, trying to use a little bit of the format from the follow-up guide.
Good.
To to call back to some stuff in the interview. Said, "Hey, I am still very interested." Made some references to some of the projects that are coming up for the position, and call on me if you need anything from me that can help smooth the process out.
Yeah. Did he give you any window of time, or is it just indefinite right now?
A very loose, could take a couple weeks.
Okay. So now that becomes your boundary.
Okay.
So I would not reach out until a couple weeks from now. And because that's what he's told you. So I would put on the calendar literally probably, let's go 2.5 weeks so we don't look, too aggressive. And 2.5 weeks from now, I would send a handwritten note and maybe leave a voicemail as well. And the handwritten note, maybe write the handwritten note, put it in the mail at 2 weeks. It's going to get there in a day or two. And then leave a voicemail when you know he's not going to be in the office. And just, hey, not calling to pressure you at all, just calling to let you know I'm on a holding pattern because I'm super jazzed about this. That's it, man. Hope you're doing well. Let me know if you need me. Just real high energy, enthusiasm, no desperation. I like that touch. Did you find out anything about him personally in the interview process?
A little bit, yeah.
What'd you find out? Give me something. Did you find out about a sports team, a music group, a TV show, something like that? Give me something.
We both have a common interest in jazz.
Okay, great.
And I also know a little bit, like he's they're down in Alabama, so he's got some connections through college football there.
Yeah. So one thing that could be really cool is before the 2.5 weeks. So don't contact about the job. But it would be fun to maybe send him a jazz album or something like that, or some type of, football paraphernalia or something, and just with a nice, hey man, I really do appreciate everything. Thought you'd enjoy this. I'd go the jazz route because that's a unique interest there that you both have, and that's it. And maybe save. You know what? Now that I think about that, I'm going to do this. I'm gonna poll Madison on this. She is the resident. She's the resident youngster here in the booth. Because Joe and we come from a different generation. Nathan, I'll get you to weigh in as well. So I just told our caller James that he's been told that 2 weeks from now they should know about the budget. So I said at 2.5 weeks, do a handwritten note and leave a voicemail after hours, just real positive. Hey, not calling to pressure you. Just let you know I'm in the holding pattern, thrilled to be in the holding pattern. Hope this opportunity works out. Just want you to know I'm all good. That's it. But then I asked him if they had any kind of mutual information that they connected on during the interview, and they both like jazz. So I said, you know what, maybe send him a jazz album or something kind of cool, that they both like. So here was my question for you, Madison and Nathan. Does he send that now, or does he send it in the 2.5 week window that I had with the thank you note?
2.5 week.
That's what I think too.
Because if you do it now, that's going to become obnoxious because it's like, I told you 2 weeks, buddy.
Yeah, I agree. That's what I questioned myself. So I'm changing my advice. Okay. So Nathan, do you agree or disagree with this?
Yeah, I agree with that.
All right, there it is. All right. So so James, I have now taken my initial thought, I edited it, and then I got approval from the two youngsters. And I think that's important. So in 2.5 weeks,
I think we have consensus.
And I really like this plan because then it's a nice touch. It's a thank you for even considering me. Hope it works out. Oh, by the way, found this album at a flea market. Here you go, or something like that. You get creative. So that's the approach. I like that. 844-747-2577. 844-747-2577. 77. All right, let's go to the chat room. And Holly writes in, Ken, I've been on the Indeed website and I've seen that employers are looking at my resume, but they haven't contacted me. Is it proper etiquette to call them up? No. I don't think it's an etiquette issue. It's just, is it the best strategy is essentially what you're asking. I wouldn't call them. I really wouldn't. It's just, if they want to call you, they'll call you. I wouldn't call them, but, and I'll be very, very honest with you. I've not interacted with this stuff to see how this all works, but now that you know they're looking at your resume, the question is there a way for you to find anybody that works in that company? And if they could do some digging in HR and find out who, in fact, was looking, and then maybe if you're interested in something there, go ahead and submit a resume and try to get it to that person. That would be kind of interesting. But other than that, I don't believe the cold call of, hey, I saw you were looking at my resume. It's just like, oh, boy. It's just uncomfortable. It's all weird. So I wouldn't do that. Millie writes in, I've been wanting to be a geologist, but I recently got a injury. It has turned into a disability. And I'm trying to figure out what other career I can get in. The first thing I would do here is I would look into how this injury that's now making you physically, you've got the disability there, the physical disability. How much does it truly limit you from the career you wanted to go into? So, for instance, you wanted to be a geologist. Obviously, you're on the foot, you're on your feet, and so that's going to limit you. But what are some positions in that space that you wouldn't have to be on your feet all day or something like that? So I would first, let's not just immediately throw out, well, I can't do geology anymore. Well, how can I be attached to geology? Or what are some roles that I can play that my injury won't limit me? I'd start there. If you can't find any, then I would say, okay, let's do a deep dive into the why behind geology. What's the why? What do you love about it? What's the work itself that you love? And then the result of the work. So we know there's a science result that you really like. We know this. So by looking at that, we're going, okay, where can I shift? It may not be geology. It might be astronomy. It might be, I don't know. I mean, you got to figure that out. But there is a pattern. And I can tell you, geology isn't the only way. It isn't the only thing that would allow you to fulfill that role and then be in your sweet spot. So that's where I would dig. Alexander writes in, I am currently at university, but it's now all online. I spent this summer installing a fence, and now I have a skill that is highly sought after. What is the best plan of action to pursue two things at once? It's all about scheduling. So based on your university load, your class load, how much time would you have to work? Outside of being in class or even online, taking the class, studying, all that kind of stuff. How much time do you have? If it's 10 hours, if it's 15 hours, now you go, okay, I can legitimately work this many hours a week, and I'm going to work part-time putting up fences, installing fences. So this is just a scheduling issue. I would think online it's going to open up more opportunity to get in some hours. So that's how you do it. You just go, I'm going to spend this much time working, this much time in school, and test it. Don't try to be too aggressive too soon, right? You'd rather work yourself up into that dual schedule. But other than that, that's all you got to do. 844-747-2577. 844-747-2577. Okay. I'm going to teach on something that I was really bad at for a season of my life. So this is just coming from the old Ken experience bucket. But I think it's really going to help a lot of you that have some of the tendencies that I have. I think all of us have these tendencies. Some of us tend to be a little bit more weak in this area. So 2 words that'll help you be better and feel better. You ready? It's pretty simple. Get ready to write it down or type it down in your phone. Be present. Be present. Now, that's pretty self-explanatory, but let's apply this. If you want to be the best version of you, first you must understand that you are multidimensional. Now, we talk about work and working on purpose here on the Ken Coleman Show, but the reality is that you are also in a relational situation, right? Whether you are a spouse, boyfriend, girlfriend, parent, you've got cousins, friends, whatever relationships that you are actively engaged in, there is a role there. And then in your work life, same thing. So we'll keep it to relationships and work here. Relational, professional. And if you want to be better and feel better about the crush of life coming at you, be present. So I'm going to walk through some quick scenarios with the theme, be present. How do I really get this idea? So let's talk real quick relationally. Moms, dads, husbands, wives, you got a lot of things going on in your life. We've got a pandemic, we've got economic crisis, we've got all these things. Pressure coming at us. A lot to worry about. What's the key to worrying? Being present. You got a lot of stuff going on at work. I've found that anytime I've got a lot going on outside of the house that has nothing to do with what's going on inside the house, that when I can just disconnect and be totally present, whether it's reading a book with my daughter, playing a video game with my son, throwing the football, the baseball, shooting hoops with them, hanging out with Stacy, glass of wine, and having great conversation. When I'm present where I am, everything else tends to fade away. That's relational application. Let's talk about the professional application. You got a lot going on at work, you're stressed out, everything's coming at you, and you're going, how am I going to get through the day? Or I've got high pressure on this presentation over here, or I've got to do this. And you want to be able to handle all of that? Be present. Be present in the meeting that you're in right now. Don't be in one meeting or a one-on-one conversation or in the midst of writing something or creating something, organize something, leading something, somebody. And don't be thinking about something else. Be present. Be present. Number one, it's going to help you actually be better in that moment that you are in anyway, whether, again, that's on the personal side or the professional side. It's going to make you be better there. And when you're better where you are, you feel better, and it helps a lot with the anxiety. And really what I'm talking about is there's so much worry. And I found that in my own life, if I was thinking too far ahead and I'm worried about what was going to happen 6 weeks from now or 8 weeks from now, and I was just spend all my time just out here, looking out here, and all this stuff. What's going to happen? Worried about tomorrow. Well, when I focused on being present, I didn't worry as much. Worry didn't have such a profound effect on me. It throws everything off. Be present. Be present. Control what you can control. That starts with a mindset and a focus of, you know what, I'm here. I want to be present. Joe and Madison know this. I will tell you, I've never shared this with the audience. They know this. I think it was January, and it was in the middle of the show. I was on a radio break, and I got some really bad news. Personal, that affected me personally. Now, they didn't know it until afterwards. I told them after the show. But I told Joe and Madison before I told them the news, and again, everybody's fine and don't anybody, but in the moment it was, I think it's fair to say it was devastating. Is that fair?
Yeah, it's hard.
And in that moment, I will tell you, my head and heart were spinning. And I'm 3 minutes away from coming back live, and I'm texting with somebody on this in my life, and I'm trying to grasp it all really quick, and it's coming at me really fast. And I remember Joe and Madison being about 30 seconds out, and the realization hit me, I've got 2 more segments on the show. I got people on hold that they need some instruction. They need some direction. They need some guidance. They need somebody who will listen to them and empathize with them and some compassion and all the things. And yet, I got to tell you, I could barely concentrate. And I'll never forget this. The music starts. Now, Joe and Madison have no idea that this is coming. So they've got their jobs. They're relying on me to do my job. I'm relying on them to do their job. And I remember the music starting, Joe, and I came back from break, and I got to tell you, man, I was not here. I was not all here. I was here, but I was not completely present. And I'll never forget, I could feel it as I was coming back from break, and just to give you all complete transparency, when you've been doing radio as long as I have, there could be a whole lot of turmoil, or I could be in deep physical pain, and I can come back from break and get into break because it's so instinctive. It's just, think about you putting your shoes on. Like, you don't think about tying your shoes. So when it comes to like coming back in and out, I could be highly distracted and I can get there, but I can't do that on the phone. I can't talk to somebody and be wildly distracted. So I'll never forget. Music comes in, I'm bringing us back from break, and I'm realizing, dude, you have got to be present. Right now, you better shut it off, and you got to be present. And it was a wonderful reminder that when we focus on the present and what we can't control, because here's the deal, folks, the thing that was really, really shocking and it was devastating. In the moment, it's not devastating anymore, but in the moment it is. You realize that when I decided to focus on the caller and completely focus on the caller, guess what I wasn't doing, Joe? I wasn't thinking about what had just happened. I literally was able to completely kind of detach from it, compartmentalize it for the moment, because why? I was being present. I had somebody that was on the line that needed some help. Now, I don't tell you that to pat myself on the back to say, look at me, look what I was able to do. No. I was a mess coming into the break. But when I decided to be present, my brain took over. And the brain's a powerful thing. And I'm telling you, when I went to commercial break, Joe, it all came back again. Right?
Yeah.
All right. And it did. But when we can say, you know what? Can't control this. Can't do anything about this. I'm here. I'm alive. I'm engaged. I'm present. Somebody's relying on me. And again, folks, let me give you the application we gave you. Personally, you got a family member that's depending on you. How many of you parents before, you felt like the sky was falling and yet you wouldn't let your kids know why? Because they're depending on you. You don't want to scare your kids. They have no control over the situation. You don't even have some control over it. So why freak your kids out? Come on, parents. We've been there. So here's the idea of being present. Whatever the situation is, whatever's coming at you, be present. And when you're present, that's the best opportunity for you to be your best in the moment. Learn from it, deal with it, whether it's a good thing, a trial, an unknown, it doesn't matter. Be present. We humans have unbelievable capabilities when it comes to adapting and being resilient. But you can't adapt. You cannot be resilient if you're not present. If you live your entire day in the past, oh, I can't believe they did that to me. That's awful. I feel so dishonored and hurt and rejected. It's victim. Or we're like, oh my gosh, this is going to be the worst thing ever. What if this happens? And what if this happens? And oh my gosh, what could this turn into? And that's the past and the future. Be present. Handle what you've got to handle in the present. Schedule time to worry or to strategize or to plan or to fix whatever you got to fix. But be present. Such a game changer. You'll see anxiety drop. You'll see negativity drop. And in its place, confidence and optimism. Be present. Whatever you're doing, when you're doing it, be fully there. Hope that helps you. It has helped me, and I struggle with that, folks. Struggle with it big time. Big time. 844-747-2577. Oh boy, this seems to be timely. After that little teaching, we'll see. We go to Green Bay, Wisconsin. Aaron joins us there. Aaron, you're on the Ken Coleman Show.
Hey, Ken, how you doing?
I'm doing well, Aaron. So Madison always gives me a little sentence describing the gist of the next caller's question. And when I saw it after that little rant, I thought, well, this is timely. Am I right?
It is.
All right, talk to me.
So I've had two passion careers that have failed, I guess. One was an auto restoration business that I started. That failed when the first recession came around. I had a couple guys pull out on contracts of cars that I was supposed to build for them. And then at that moment, exact year, my dad was deciding to get out of the family farm. So I just stepped into his role. And now this past year, I don't know if you keep track of how farming life is right
tough
now, but it's just terrible right now for farmers.
Yeah.
So I decided to sell the family farm to get out before we got in too deep. And now I'm in a filler job that I just don't really want to have. I really feel like a big call to go back and try to start my auto restoration business back.
Great.
Not sure if that's the right decision or if it's just a decision that I would like to do because it's something that I'm comfortable with.
I've got a feeling, but you tell me, I've got a feeling that this is not you just picking something that you know. I think you want to do it. I think you always wanted to do it. And I think you had some bad circumstances happen. And had that not have happened, you'd be happy as a clam if you were restoring and building cars. Am I right or am I wrong?
Yep. No, I'd still be doing it if we didn't have bad financial years that we've had. So
okay. So if I guarantee that you can't fail if you get back into the auto restoration business, would you do anything else?
I don't think I would. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was something that I love to do.
You good at it?
When I graduated high school, I was torn between farming and restorations, and I've been blessed to be able to do both. But
yeah. Are you good at it?
I'm real good at it. I've sold a couple big cars down at Meacham Car Auctions for a couple people. And
did you really? You know, I watched that. Joe knows this. Joe's shaking his head. I watched that. It's like my guilty pleasure. I love watching Meacham Auto Auctions. So it was exhilarating watching my cars that I built for these car owners go across and get bid on and watch them bring three figures. It's yes, sir. And by the way, it's pretty lucrative too. If you really get it going, you can be lucrative. Yes or no?
I truly believe you can. My biggest problem is since the farm sold, we moved. We were about 40 minutes north of Green Bay. Now we'd be starting a new location, but with the new location comes more population.
Yeah. So what are you unsure of? Like, what is this? Is this a function of being able to have the equipment? But once you have the equipment to do the work, it's really about having customers come in because you're charging for your labor and the customer's picking up the parts. So really your costs are machinery and the talent, the people to actually do the work. But if you're starting out doing most of it yourself, and then maybe you contract some specialty people out, it really is just about your equipment on the front end and being able and not putting all your eggs in this basket. So I think maybe it's a little bit of day job and get the dream job going on the side, maybe weekends, nights and weekends, until you get some cash flow. Am I right?
Yeah. I did actually keep all my equipment.
Great.
When I got out of the auto restoration.
So you're telling me you could start tomorrow because you've got the equipment to be able to do a job?
I could. Yeah, because what's funny is my parents moved when we moved off the family farm, and my dad purchased a house that was a former auto body shop on it.
So what are we waiting on? What are we scared of?
I'm scared I'm going to fail, and my family's going to resent me for it.
Yeah, but they're not going to resent you because you're not going to fail financially, even if the business doesn't take off. You're not going to go into debt, are you?
No,
because you don't have to go into debt. You have the equipment, and your dad's got the place.
Yeah,
and you're not going to quit.
Coming from the farm and working, my biggest problem is starting out. I'm going to have to work a lot, and when I got out of farming, I was farming every day with 20-hour days.
Yeah, I get it.
Getting out of that, I told the family, I was like, I just can't. I'm not going to do that to you guys again. I got 2 little girls with another one on the way, so
all right. But let's play this out. I get it, but somehow you're starting to wonder if you're going back on your word. Is that what I'm hearing?
Kinda, yeah. I don't want to disappoint them.
Yeah, I know, but is your wife on board with this dream? She knows that you want to have your own restoration business?
I've been hitting at it. I haven't come out and we haven't had the big long discussion about it yet. I kind of want.
All right, so
I kind of
look,
wanted to get all my eggs in the basket. And I've been talking to a lot of people in the area, just seeing if it would be something to even worry her about.
And you feel like you got the business? You can get the business?
I think I could get the business, having to put in some, working 3 or 4 nights a week or one day on the weekend, just trying to.
Yeah, but here's the deal. But that's for a limited time.
Yep.
Am I right?
You're right. You're right.
Because, bro, listen to me. I watch all these auto restoration shows on Netflix, and I watch them all. And the reality is that you can't take on 3 or 4 cars right away, but you can take one car on.
Yep.
And so let's do this. So my dad just sent me. I paid for it, but I got the exterior. It's about 95% done. Looks fantastic. Little things now on a 1972 convertible Carmen Ghia. Oh, baby, is it sweet, Aaron. Okay. But the interior's not done. It's a total overhaul. Like I got to get the dash. I've got, a dash pad. I got to get the seats done, carpet. It's not a ton. Oh, there it is. Yep. They just put it up on the screen. There it is. There she is. Thank you, Nathan. Look at my baby there. And so let's say I came to you and I said, all right, listen, Aaron, I need you to do the interior on this. All right. Carpet. We're doing the seats, the dash, interior lining, all that, doors. And you quoted me on that. And you would say to me, well, it's going to take this many hours, right? So let's say that took you, what do you think, 15 hours to do the interior of a Carmen Ghia? What do you think?
Yeah, that's 15, 20 hours would be realistic.
All right.
Get it in, installed, and looking good.
All right, so quote me on that. Right now, we're having fun. Nobody's going to hold you to this. Quote me on that. What's that going to cost?
Well, for running at 15 to 20 hours, call it 20 hours to make it easy. I was charging 7 years ago. I was charging $45 an hour.
Okay, what would you charge now?
Job. I've been hearing rates are at 75, but I would probably keep it right around that 55, just until I get back in it and get a couple cars back under my belt.
All right, so I'm not good at math, but let's just do that, Joe. 20 hours, $55 an hour. What do we got? $1,100. Boom, done. That's $1,100. So there you go. So now I dropped the car off at your house. All right. How, based on the schedule to try to keep your wife happy right now, how many days is that going to take? Are you going to do that in 3 or 4 nights in one weekend, or are you going to do it over 6 nights? You tell me.
I'd probably do it around probably 6 nights.
Okay, there it is.
On a weekend day, try to get it done.
All right. So you see my point? Now you just put $1,100 in the bank and you don't touch it. Then you go get another project. All right. And so maybe over a 3 to 6 month period, you're working those extra hours, but now you're really stacking the money there, right? And then you can go, all right, now I can do a bigger job. I'm trying to help you get to the point where you can actually have a real conversation with your wife and go, this is not going to be forever that I'm working 50 hours. It's not.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. It's a hard conversation. I guess I more or less don't want to have it.
Well, it's not that hard when you help her see the vision.
Yeah.
Project it out a year from now, 3 years from now, 5 years from now, 7 years from now, how much money you're making and how much freedom you have when you got 5 or 6 fabricators working for you and 2 welders and blah, 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 right? And you're making money hand over fist. All right?
That's the dream.
All right, buddy. So you know what to do. Let's go. Have the conversation, cast the vision. I think you're going to be surprised at how on board she is. All right. Fun times there. I need him to come fix my Ghia. Our time's almost up, but before I let you go, you matter and you do have what it takes. Thank you so much for joining us. Until next time, this is the Ken Coleman Show. Press on.